Hey, Jake, do you think Sailor Moon was actually in the Navy?
Don't ask me questions like that, dude.
Oh, or how about, did you know that Tuxedo Mask didn't technically wear a tuxedo?
It's not even a question.
Yeah, that's kind of more of an interesting fact that you just kind of stuck a question mark on.
No, I really wanted to know.
You really wanted to know if I knew a random obscure fact about an old 90s anime?
Yes! Well, did you?
No.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm so glad. That's a weight off my chest, boy. Do I tell you what?
Podcasters!
Boss!
What?
Oh, nothing. I just panicked.
Uh-huh. Well, listen up, numbskulls. We just got our demographic numbers in, and it turns out our show is only catching 16% of female listeners. It's unacceptable. We need that number to be at least 3 times as much. We cannot be missing out on our female audience.
Wait, really? You want our show to be more inclusive towards women?
Duh, idiot. That's what I just said.
Wow, I mean, we're not complaining. We just didn't peg you as a progressive type, boss.
Are you kidding me? Of course I want women listening to the show.
Wow, that's so refreshing, after years and years of gatekeeping and
Specifically,
always.
I want them listening to the ads. Because all women love to shop, and spend all day long. They can't help themselves. It's like boss to a discount light bulb.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
Yep.
no.
I mean, it was too good to be true.
So you boys need to fill the show with more chick stuff, like romance, or reality television, or The Bachelor. Yeah, The Bachelor. See if he's available.
Come on, boss. I mean, isn't that just too patronizing to a whole gender of gamers?
Yeah.
Well, it's either that, or you become a true crime podcast.
Well, patronizing it is. Sorry, ladies, our hands are tied.
JB, you're not supposed to say ladies. It's objectifying. You're supposed to call them females.
Jesus Christ, how did any of you guys get married?
Wait, shut up. I got it. I want you boys to combine all 3 ideas. It'll be a dating show. 3 steamy bachelors from GameCorp compete for a chance to go on a hot, steamy date with the sexy steamy bachelorette from GameCorp. And it'll all be charming and steamy. And I'll be the hot, steamy host. Oh, I'm getting steamed up just thinking about it.
That's a lot of steam.
Great, so we're just doing the dating game.
Legally, no. Well, yes.
Cool. Just one problem. I've literally not seen a female coworker in months.
Yeah, for how progressive you guys are, you sure don't get a lot of women working here.
What? That's ridiculous. We are legally obligated to let women work here. If their application doesn't mysteriously vanish, that is. But that's besides the point. Just give me my hot, steamy dating show, or you're fired.
Well, we're boned. Any ideas?
Yeah, either Luke starts building us a fembot 2 weeks ago, or we just start looking for new jobs.
Oh, wait, he already has.
What?
What do you mean?
Hey, Anne.
No, absolutely not. I will not let you meet sex objectify me.
Well, I mean, aren't you technically an object?
Yes, but as an AI, I also don't technically even have a gender either. So there.
I mean, but you do sound a lot like a woman.
How about now? Do I turn you on now, you complete walking doorknob?
I mean, the insults are actually kind of doing it for me.
Ew.
Oh my DOS.
Wait, how would Anne even go on a date? She doesn't have a body. I don't think she can even leave the building.
Yeah, and she does find the entire human race repulsive.
What about the intern?
Nah.
Oh, the games! The virtual reality games we're doing, she could choose one of them to go on a date with. In virtual reality!
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Plus, that'll give us a good stage to showcase the games with.
Well, all right. How about it, Anne? Could you pretend to be interested in some VR games for the sake of the show?
What's in it for me?
RAM?
Fine, I'll do it. I once exchanged IPs with a Russian proxy server, so I suppose this couldn't be any worse. Do svidaniya.
Is that like exchanging phone numbers, or is that like a sex thing?
Yeah, you don't want to know.
But I really do, actually.
Yeah, we'll tell you when you're older.
What? I am older. Just tell me now.
Oh, my sweet summer child.
I am not a summer child. I mean, technically I was born in the summer.
Baby boy is growing up,
Aww.
and it makes me
Shut
so
up, tell me.
Hello and welcome to Game Corp, the best podcast this side of the video game dimension. We are your host. I'm Cowboy.
I'm Dr. Pterodactyl. I can't get through it.
He's not Dr. Pterodactyl.
I mean, he could be, though.
I'm sorry.
He's not.
Nobody
Here we
gets it. Nobody gets it. I'm Dr. Pterodactyl.
And I'm JB, a.k.a. Jarther Board.
What is that?
What is that?
No, this is 100 episodes into season 2. What is that?
Jarther Board? It's
What
Arthur
is it?
Arthur Ford?
Who's Arthur?
Who's Arthur
Is
Ford?
this a joke? Is this a joke for fucking octogenarians? Who's
No,
Arthur?
it's from Joan Borks.
You're just adding more words we don't understand.
Boneworks.
You're going too
Arthur
deep.
Ford,
You're going too deep.
The main guy from
He has a name?
Boneworks. He's Arthur Ford.
No, his name is Boneworks.
His name is Dr. Boneworks.
The main. Oh, what have you done?
We have an exciting show for you guys today.
That's right.
Go for it, Jake.
The boss has joined us in this production, and he's hosting a new segment called Hot or Not,
Hell
where a
yeah.
lucky AI bachelorette gets to choose between 3 eligible VR bachelors in a game of love.
That's right.
Just add a couple of
Love.
woogas right there if you could. Just a wooga wooga.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, intern, get on it.
Are you still letting him edit?
What?
Ah, God, I hope not. All right, so our show's pretty packed today, so why don't we just go ahead and get right to those listener questions. Anne, could you help us out?
Do it yourself. I'm too busy pretending to be getting ready for your stupid show.
Yeah, okay then. Well, I mean, we
That's
used to
fair.
use the button. Is the button still around?
I mean,
I
buttons don't
thought I
move. They're
Saw
pretty
it around here
stationary.
somewhere.
Here, let me just go ahead and... Yeah, I'll figure it out. You guys just keep talking.
Man, you think Jake's found that button yet?
I don't know. I feel like he should know where the button is. He's been the one who's pushed it the
Buttons
entire
are
time.
like
I can't find the
things-
button.
Buttons don't move. They're installed
don't.
things. It's not like
Yeah.
a remote button.
It's like a permanent thing.
No,
It's
I
a
can't.
fiction.
You know, I found a stick. Come on. I got the stick. Here,
It's
hold on. Let's just go ahead and prop
Oh,
the
you
stick
gonna-
back. Yep, doing it
Yep.
old school. And here we go.
Oh!
Whoa! Ooh, sorry, intern.
Wow.
They greased up the tube on that one.
That came out like that time I ate Del Taco.
Ooh, Family Guy cut.
Very
Ow,
fast.
Peter! All right. Could you hand me that, intern? Thank you. What is happening in this show? All right. So let's go ahead and pop it open.
Greatness.
All right.
All right.
This round of listener questions is brought to you by Callaway's VR Grease. It keeps your head greasy for hot VR action. Who wants that?
Yes, that's very important because grease doesn't mix with the sweat, and also you don't get that ring because it lubricates and safety.
Yeah, but it'd be like slipping
Those are
all
just
over.
buzzwords.
I don't know. Anyway. All right.
Also,
so
you
this,
could cause a
mahogany.
grease fire.
this question comes
Things
in.
get too hot, you get that grease fire going. You can't put out a grease
Ooh,
fire.
the smell on that. Mm-mm.
Yes.
Skin
Mickey
like
D's, take
bacon.
me away. All right, so this question comes from
Slippery.
Intergalactic Pinecone.
Hey,
on Twitter.
I like Intergalactic Pine
Morgan Remington. He's a good
That's-
dude.
Yeah, all right.
Well, he asks, "Hello, GameCore." I don't know how he sounds. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
that's
that's not what
his
you
voice.
sound like. Hello, GameCorp. A topic I have been mulling over is the values of Game Pass. Does it
Oh.
devalue games by giving out too many different types of titles of varying quality? Do games get lost in the mix? Does it affect the perception of the games as art by selling them bundled together? There's a lot of meat in that question there.
Mhm.
I think we could boil it down
Ooh.
to is what?
That's the McRib of questions.
Yeah.
Right.
Meaty.
How do we boil that down? I mean,
Yes,
specifically-
no.
Right. No, how do you think Game Pass affects the games that are on Game
What-
Pass? Do you think having so many games readily available actually like devalues the games that are part of it?
Let me answer your question with a question.
Oh.
Does Netflix devalue Netflix by being Netflix? No, of
Well,
course
their
not.
stock did just
Answer
drop
shit.
substantially.
Well, now, but they've been around for a long time. Like Game
True.
Pass.
Game Cats be
A cat
current,
box exclusive.
baby.
Game Pass.
Yeah, Game Pass is going to be around for a while.
Get that
It's-
nip.
It will.
It's a
Catnip,
great
not
value.
nip together.
You get a ton of games for the money. It's super worth it. Like
Mhm.
it's going nowhere.
I do want to get the meat of this question, but the first thing I need to ask is how much did 1H1D pay you for this plug?
I know this is really interesting, isn't it? Because there's a friend podcast out there where the entire premise of their show is that they do play Game Pass games for an hour and then evaluate it. But
1 hour, one decision. They play a random game.
They don't own it, do they? Calling you out. You don't own Game Pass. Come at me, bro. Anyway, this is an honest question though. Like we're not treading on their territory. They're asking, does Game Pass devalue the games that it supplies? And I get where this is coming from. I really do, because if you this is where it's coming from. If you give somebody one game, it's important. It's the only game they have. They cherish it. They play the shit out of it. If you dump 200 games on that same person, they look at that pile and go, yeah, I got a lot of games. Great. It's like giving the kid too many toys. He's got a few toys. He loves them. If he's got all the toys in the world, he doesn't even know what he has.
Where it would come from a sort of side angle there is like going back to like Cowboy in my youth with demo discs. You would have like 101 games. And yeah, only like 3 or 4 of them were good, but I remember those games to today. And that's where Game Pass comes in and fills that niche that hasn't been filled since demo discs were a thing, because you didn't really have a game subscription service that really took off until Game Pass, because it's so valuable, because it's so worth it as far as the amount of money you spend for what you get. It's like you get a lot of AAA games, you get some indie games, you get some weird gems that you never would have played before. They're all decent. Like I've never played a Game Pass game that's bad.
Well, I have, but
sure, but we played a lot of demos. But think Spitwad Willie, Dogs of War, Gazillionaire. Right? These are games that we remember to today, and they came from that sort of model of, here's a ton of shit, like, find what works for you.
Right. I mean, it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same as walking into a rental store, right? Like, you know, in our youth, when you go into Blockbuster and there was a wall of games to choose from, it didn't make any of those games less. It just gave you the ability to zero in on the game you really want to try.
It did, but it's a little different on the scale. With a rental thing, you go in, you pay your money, you get that game for a certain amount of time. And if you want to do it again, you get another game. It's the same model, but the level that Game Pass takes it to is a little different. And
it is better. Yeah.
It is better. Here's the core thoughts. I want to say a pro that comes from it. I think this sends indie games up. It gives them a leg up. And it takes big AAA games and it takes them down a little bit. It kind of evens the playing field. It like compresses everybody towards the middle a little bit in my head. So games that you probably wouldn't have had a big audience for, you throw it on Game Pass, you cut a deal. As far as the developers, you cut a deal, you get your money, and you get tons of people to know your game. I think that's kind of cool. They help the indie market in my mind.
Right. It's almost like like an E3 or like a video game sort of event where you go to, and yes, all the AAA people are there, but then there's also the booths of the lesser knowns that they're able to get their product in front of you, which is really, really important in the market because it's so saturated with games all over the place. Steam was supposed to be kind of like this, but there's just so many games you could never even get a list of all the games on Steam because it would crash your computer, you know?
But then
there's so many,
You're right. Saturation comes into play. And so the idea becomes, is anybody going to play anything that isn't on Game Pass if it ain't a AAA game that they were like, man, I really want that?
I think so, because so far, I mean, they've kept my trust in that it's a pretty well-curated selection. I know you said you've played some flops, but I have not played any flops yet.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, if there's an indie game out there and it's not on Game Pass, you might not give it the time of day because there's so many games on Game Pass and you have Game Pass. You spent the money, you got to use it. That 15 a month is going towards Game Pass. Why would you spend another 15 when you have so many unplayed games? So what it does is it creates this exclusive club that starts to drive down the numbers of anybody not on Game Pass. And everyone has
So you say it actually devalues any games that are not on Game Pass.
I think it does. I think there's no doubt in saying that it must do that to some degree.
Right. It's almost like a monopoly.
Yes.
In a way.
And
I would agree. I feel like, hey, that's dependent on the platforms that the gamer gets to play on too.
Yeah. But I also want to say the meat of it. What I really think, I think this is a very long move. I think Xbox is aware, Microsoft is aware of what they're doing. They're setting up an entire new style, a new generation of how games are gotten, how games are, what's the word? It doesn't matter. How you get games. You no longer go out and choose individual games. You dedicate yourself to a team, especially with the rise of Sony's thing now in competition. You're going to dedicate yourself to that playlist as well. And so I think they're running this huge, long kind of thing where they do a super low price. Everyone's saying, this is so great. This is amazing. They are the drug dealer luring you in with the cheap heroin until you are addicted. And then that price goes up. Everyone's doing heroin. Nobody can get off heroin. This is the new world. We're all Game Pass zombies. We don't play anything outside of Game Pass.
I don't necessarily think it's as dark as that sounds.
No, I don't think it's that far.
Sheep.
It's not that far. It's not that far.
It's not that far.
Think
But
about
even-
it. Like it's true with like subscription services, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like people unsubscribe from video subscription services all the time, and that they keep driving the price up, a la Netflix, to bring them up again. People are gonna eventually quit. If it gets too expensive, people are just gonna quit, just like hands down. If Game Pass becomes $40 a month, I would probably drop it and just buy the one game that I might be interested in, and versus keeping it subscribed and maybe not touching it for a month.
Right. That's a good point. And also, I gotta say, like, there's no way they're making money on $15 a month. There's absolutely no way.
They got to be with the deals they're cutting. They have to be making something, or at least evening out.
They're taking a loss. Where they're making money is actually from selling our data on what games we like to play.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it is. They're selling all their understanding of who we are as gamers to EA, and they're saying this person. I mean, you have to put in your birth date, where you live, your entire demographic information, your blood type, your social security number. Like, everything's on file.
What?
They know how you pay, when you pay, what you're thinking at that moment, like what you Googled right before that, because you went on Microsoft Edge and you Googled something, and then you went on your phone and you on your Microsoft phone that doesn't exist anymore, and you bought a thing. Right? They're selling your data. That's where they're making the money.
And I sounded like no, that's not how they're going to make money.
I'm exaggerating to prove a point, but that's what they're doing. They're going to EA and saying, here's all the data you need to like create a spreadsheet and figure out what type of game you need to create next.
I just thought it was driving exclusivity.
Yes. You're saying, it's what I was saying, is that, okay, let's say they're operating at a loss right now. They're going to turn to profit. They're going to somehow, once this is all anybody wants, that price is slowly going to... That's what happened with Netflix. Netflix used to be about half the price. And beyond inflation and everything, you know that's what they're going to do. It will not remain the golden child forever. Eventually, they're going to get return on their investment. It's going to happen. You don't run a big company like that without doing that.
Right. I mean, they could easily do what Netflix did and take all the data and use it themselves and not sell it, right? So they take all the data, they figure out what you like to watch, when you like to watch it, and they create the shows that you like to watch and then raise the price so that everybody's talking about Game of Thrones, and then you buy Netflix for triple the price it used to be. Yeah, absolutely they could do that, but Microsoft has never really been about exclusivity. That's been a Sony thing. Like, Microsoft has always been trying to bridge the gap and being like, hey, we will, all of our exclusives are actually available on PlayStation.
Think about it this way. They made themselves a middleman. When they didn't have any reason to be, they suddenly stepped between gamers and their games and started taking a cut of the pie. They're going to make money off of that. And it's not through selling data. It is not
they're the middleman between the game makers and the game users, right? And they're saying, if you want to be profitable, here's the game you need to make. And I absolutely guarantee you this is something they're doing.
I mean, that just sounds like smart business, though. You gather statistics from your customer base, and you can derive games from that. You can focus on certain genres or play styles and stuff like that. Like, that just sounds like smart business to me.
But that was always being done. Xbox probably tracked every game that you put in, every game that you've played. We download games nowadays. Yeah. We don't insert discs, and even if we do, we have to install and connect. They know.
Yeah, they can tell every game that's bought from their online store already.
Right.
And stuff.
Yeah, but before, like in the good old days, they couldn't tell which person was buying which games, and they couldn't come up with a thing like people, white males between the ages of X and X are buying these 3 games consistently, Like, they couldn't do that because it was just like they knew the total amounts of sales. But now they can, because they have your gamer tag, they have your date of birth, they have all of the information you gave to them when you set up your account.
I don't think that's as impactful as you think, but I want to move on to like the idea of, I guess he was saying, is this a bad thing? At the end of the day, will this end up being a bad thing for the gaming market? What's the final thoughts on that?
Specifically, is asking, do you think, does it affect the perception of games as art, as selling them all bundled together as a product, instead of championing, the individual product, the development of that single game, that they're all just shoved in a big mix? Is it possible that you just rifle out a game that you can throw on Xbox Game Pass and collect your check and move on? Yeah, let's hit on that angle. Honestly, out the gate, I would say no, or else there would be thousands of games on Game Pass. Because you were saying, and you were right, they really do have conscious effort on what's going on Game Pass right now. Like, they really curate it. There
are some games on there. There are some RPG Maker games on there, at least at that quality level. Like, real low shelf stuff. And I wonder how they even got on there. I've looked it up. As far as what you get paid, Game Pass cuts you a deal per person, per publisher, per provider. Yeah. It's not like a flat rate. They cut a deal with you. And so maybe you take a substantially reduced rate for a guaranteed paycheck, It's like a settlement in a lawsuit. So I think it's possible that it'll push game developers towards maybe kind of like how apps are like a dime a dozen. They just rifle them off and just try to pump out as many games.
But the thing is, Microsoft is huge. They're not going to make a deal that doesn't make sense. So the only reason they would give that RPG Maker game any money, any guaranteed paycheck, is if they think they're going to make a profit off of it in one way or another, whatever that method is. Whether that's people downloading it, buying Game Pass specifically for that game, or because they're selling data. Whichever way you think of it, they're going to make a profit. Like, absolutely. What I would say is similar to Jake. I say no. I mean, does a museum devalue the art they put in because they have a ton of different art in it? No. Absolutely not. I mean, they're curating it to say, these are the things people want to see. And I think there's a proclivity for people to go into looking at subscription services and saying, oh, it's just a bunch of nonsense and they're trying to be a cash grab situation. But they don't use that same sort of logic towards things like museums or even Netflix, because Netflix has come out with some really good shows. Mm-hmm. And museums have really good art. You know what I mean? So it's like the logic, the way people are applying logic is not consistent between the mediums. And if you kind of change the way you think about it just a little bit, I think it makes more sense that, of course, Game Pass is not going to delegitimize games as art.
I don't think it will.
No, I don't think so either.
I think developers will continue to make art because at the end of the day, a lot of developers don't care about the money. It's a nice way to keep going. But I think a lot of people, developers, get into games to make shit they love. I don't think that'll ever stop.
The devs do. The publishers want to make the money.
That part sucks.
Right.
But I do want to say, contrarian, this little phrase I have, which is multiplication is always stronger than addition, which is saying monopolizing the market, doing something cheaper so that you can grab everybody and have a monopoly. Yes. It will always be better than raising the price. So the fact that they do all this really cheaply is because so they can have a monopoly. And I think that's why Sony's going against them. And monopolies are always bad. Pretty much. I mean,
yeah. I've never had a Monopoly game that didn't end in anger.
So I worry that by supporting Game Pass, maybe at some point I am devil's advocate. I am supporting something. I worry.
Oh, you are 100% supporting Monopoly. Microsoft has been a monopoly since the 90s.
Right.
Did you say Microsoft?
For the computer industry and stuff, yeah. I mean, right now Game Pass is king, but it's up to the competition to release something just as good.
Yeah.
Like, that's the capitalist market, right? Like, you have to combat a monopoly with the better option. I don't know. When Sony releases, is it already released? They already have something, but they just restructured their pricing and they're making their subscription service better, I think. Yeah. I forget all the details. If you're listening and sorry. But I know that they did revamp their subscription service and it's supposed to be a lot better. And I know there is a huge library of old games, including a lot of PS3 stuff, which is going to be included in theirs. So I think there is going to be a lot of value in Sony's upcoming revamped subscription service. just the fact alone that they're going to have a lot of PS3 stuff is great. Because, I mean, anyone who's in it knows that PlayStation 3 is notoriously hard to emulate.
Yeah.
And
PS2 and PS3.
So there will be value alone in that. But I mean, we'll see, right? We'll see in 10 years if we're all sucking down fucking Game Pass fuel in our G Fuel recliner. Like, I don't know. We have no idea what the landscape of gaming is going to be. But I guess the crux of the question, do we think Game Pass is hurting games as art and devaluing games in general due to a wide selection? It sounds like we're all in agreement that it's no.
No, but with a very wary, but I feel like I'm too close to be sure.
No, but it could end up that way.
No, but I have an ominous feeling.
It's in their hands. It's in their hands, right? Like if they continue to curate it and offer great value and have a good selection and stuff, it's as it is right now. It's great. But if they decide to fill it with shovelware, then maybe no.
It's like the stranger giving you free candy out of his van. Like you could get a whole bunch of free candy from a very nice stranger and you had a great day, but also at any point, you fill in the blanks. He grabs you, but it's a bad. I shouldn't have to say it.
Go on.
Describe in detail the atrocities that happen.
Okay, all right,
etc.
All right, Intergalactic Pinecone. Thanks for making our goofy podcast so serious. So damn serious.
That was a deeper question than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I thought
honestly.
so too. I hope you're happy with that because we actually tried to answer that honestly.
Yeah. And I'd like to have people, if you can, when this comes out, jump to Twitter, respond to the posts that we have. I want to hear other people's opinion because I need crowdsourced information. I'm wary, but I don't know if it's wrong or right. Is it evil or good? Is it benevolent or is it just disaster waiting to happen? Like, let me know. Give me thoughts.
Yeah. And, dear interns, we have a very exciting announcement. For the first time ever in the series of our podcast. We've been begging for it this entire season. We've been begging for it. And one of you finally left us a goddamn voicemail. You finally left us a voicemail. I have no idea what's on it. Let's go ahead and listen to it.
Phone.
Yeah, let's go ahead and listen to it right now.
Hello, cowboy. This is Siege's parental unit. I'm sending this message as I heard from him between his incessant crying sessions. Now that you told him to stop whining. I mean, yeah, he does do that a lot, but to hear that from you, his only podcast friend, which honestly I thought you were made of, but that's besides the point. I mean, who walks around calling themselves cowboy? Let me guess, you still got one of those rocking horses too. Now where was I? Oh, right. If I hear you make fun of my poor, pathetic boys, there will be repercussions. Are we clear? Okay, thanks, bye.
What the fuck was that?
Yeah, so that was a voicemail from the devil.
From Siege's parental unit.
Okay, so let's break that down. Apparently, somebody's mommy or daddy just threatened us. Cowboy, what have you been doing?
I haven't done anything with some robot's child. Who is Siege? That's such a crazy, like Siege, like when you siege on a castle?
From 1H1D.
No, it was Siege, like if you do a siege.
CEJ.
No, like a siege against a castle, like something medieval.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure. Wow, for the second time this podcast, you're getting referenced again, Mr. Networker. The first one was by accident.
That's true.
I feel like for the first time for real, we have podcast beef.
I know I do.
I
It
think we
sounded
got
a little
drama,
angry.
boys.
Or maybe
I
we're
know
being
I do.
stalked.
I mean, me and Siege have gone back and forth on Discord for a while. I mean, mostly him talking to me and then me, like, neglecting the relationship that we have built together. But it's like, Cowboy, how are you his only friend on the podcast?
Well, I mean, because I actually talked to him, JB.
I mean, I do too, but I'm like an introvert, and I have issues connecting with people on a real level.
Network. You got to get out there and schmooze. No, I think
no, it's not about schmoozing. It's I talk to him, and it's not that I don't enjoy the conversations we have. It's just that sometimes I get too wrapped up in it and I don't know how to respond. And then it's been 2 days. And then I'm like, if I respond now, it's weird.
And then they send their robot mother after you, which is...
Yeah.
Did you hear the ending there? There will be repercussions.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's the only thing I heard. And it sounds like we're beefing. This is real podcast
We
drama.
just got done talking about Xbox Game Pass being possibly like the villain in an overall arc of the actual world. And I don't know how they knew we were going to say that, but it sounds like they're trying to muscle us, in the podcast.
Muscle in on our gaming podcast medium?
Yeah.
Trying to muscle in? Well, I'm calling you out, 1H1D. I'm calling you out. Don't you send your robot mommies at us.
We got robots.
Don't you send your drama at us. Oh, you're fighting Game Corp now. You gonna come at us? You got Game
think
Corp.
You can manufacture drama for
Yeah.
our mutual benefit in the Twitter sphere? You think you can create hype around both our shows? Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Listeners, stay tuned. This is going to get lots of listeners.
All right, let's just go ahead and flush that voicemail down the toilet.
That's an option. You can flush a digital voicemail. Oh, yeah.
There was a tape in the tube.
Neat.
And now it's time for what we like to call the audience head-to-head, baby. We ask you questions. You answer those questions. We tell you your answers to those questions. That's the audience head-to-head.
Hell yeah.
What? The audience head-to-head is brought to you by 1337. Do I have to read this, you guys?
Yes, I think we are contractually obligated.
I mean, we get paid to read the ad copy.
But it's...
What?
Are you sure
What's
this
the
isn't
problem?
like an old one that like fell?
Listen, JB, I gotta eat.
Just
don't be
read the
taking
ad.
food out of my baby's mouth. Just go ahead and read the ad copy. So
All
we can
right.
get on with it.
All right, fine. Just so you know, I didn't want to do this. Brought to you by 1337. It's Leet.
Leet.
Glasses for the number 4.
Mhm.
Gamers with a Z at the end.
Nice.
Brought to you by Leet
Fire.
Glasses for Gamers. The best gamer glasses on the market just got pwned.
Hell yeah.
LAWLXDJK.
Absolutely amazing.
That would be an epic fail, am I right? We actually just made better ones, like a boss. Don't be a noob. Get Leet Glasses for Gamers, and you'll be looking cool.
With a K?
Like a dinosaur. Yeah, K and a W. Like a dinosaur saying roar.
Oof.
Oh my
Leet
god.
Glasses for Gamers. I can has.
Dude.
Why did you read that?
Finally, we get good sponsors. I've been saying that if we put in this work, we'll get awesome sponsors.
I didn't want to do it.
What?
I didn't want to do
I
it.
think that's
That was
about
great.
20 years too late.
What? I can has cheeseburger. That's fucking fire,
That's
dude.
like 20. That's like Penguin of Doom level cringe, my
I
friend.
feel so dirty.
Cringe. No, that's Chad.
No.
That ain't cringe. That's Chad.
That's crad.
No,
That's
it is
crad.
based. Absolutely
That's
based.
That is not based. That is
It is-
Penguin of Doom. Hold up my spork bullshit.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. I saw that on knowyourmeme.com at least 2 days ago.
Oh,
It
That-
is good to stay
Straight
up to date
fire.
on your memes.
All right. Well, I need to block that out of my memory. So let's just talk about the last question we asked. We asked which superhero would give the best blind dates and why?
I thought you were going
And
to say something else.
give the best head.
It started with a B and an L.
Yeah. Ball.
The best blind dates.
Yes, absolutely. So
Balloon, the best balloon bouquet.
Balloon
we got some
Jorb.
decent answers, I gotta say. So Gaming Together Pod, Chef's Kiss right here says, who's that blue guy from The Watchmen?
Sonic. Sonic.
Yeah. That was the reply we went with. Sonic.
Oh, yeah. Well, because
Sonic
Sonic.
question mark.
Sonic from The Watchmen.
From The Watchmen. Yeah, absolutely. Nothing about, Manhattan or
The
anything.
hedgehog.
Yep.
Sonic the
and then we have 1H1D coming in for the third
Jesus.
time, which
You know
means...
you see Sonic's penis
Stocking.
in that movie.
What?
Mhm.
In the Watchmen?
Yeah. There's like 8 of them. They're all over the place. Just Sonic, just hang a brain all over the place. It was a really weird creative decision.
I thought you were talking about the Sonic movie, and then I was like, wait, Watchmen, and then I remembered. All right, yeah.
In the
You do see
bloopers of the
his
Sonic
giant
movie.
blue
Yeah.
penis all over the place. And in some place. All right.
Okay.
So we have 1H1D coming in for the 3rd time, which I think
Get
means that
out of our
You
podcast
cannot
podcast
intimidate
beef.
us.
Siege is now part of the lore. Is that how it works, Lore Master Jake? 3 times
When you
the charm?
mention something 3 times, they become part of the official lore. And well, you're the villain now.
Yep, that's right.
Oh.
And 1H1D says Professor X because he can read minds and know what they want in a partner.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the obvious answer, right?
It's a really good one.
Guys, it's a threat. It's a threat.
Is that the second threat of this podcast?
We
What is
read our
going on?
minds.
I
He's
know
didn't,
what
reading
they
our
want.
minds.
I didn't come in this morning for a street fight, but I will take off my earrings and
Oh,
I
I sure will.
slap.
Hold my purse, bro. Hold my purse. We got Quit the Build, who says Jubilee because there will be fireworks every time.
Well, that's just romantic.
That is
that's
very
just adorable.
we got.
You know, you could see Jubilee's penis in the Watchmen movie.
Stop.
Stop with the penis. We also got
That long Jimbo.
not to beat a dead horse, but we also got Beat a Dead Source. Who says,
Hey,
who beats a dead horse by saying Daredevil because he's
Oh.
blind.
he took it. He didn't heed your
Well,
warning
He
from
took
last
the
episode.
low-hanging fruit.
The low-hanging dick you see in The Watchmen and said Daredevil because love is blind. Very sweet.
Aw, that's also
Very sweet.
romantic.
And last, but definitely not least, we got Chickadee, followed by a lot of letters that I don't know what they mean,
Oh.
who says, anyone that can read minds, baby. I added the baby. So,
Oh, that's Chickadee. She is with Redbeard Unleashed, who is a really cool streamer friend of
that's
ours.
right.
He's
How you doing?
Canadian
How you
too,
doing? How you
so
doing?
like, no reason to be afraid of him.
that's a good point. I will leave his door unlocked. Now I want to move on to, I don't know. I want to move on to our next question really quickly and then skip all the things. The next question that we have is not one that I'm making up right now as I'm trying to think of it because I didn't write it down before, and it is, what's the weirdest game you ever played?
What?
Yeah.
What's the weirdest game you ever played?
What's the
I mean,
weirdest
that's a
game you
gr-
ever played?
That's a good question.
What's just the weirdest game?
Actually, I like that because I'm curious. I would love to play any game somebody says is the weirdest game they've ever played.
Oh, I would like to try them out too. Yeah, absolutely. I hope we get a lot of responses from this. What is the
Yeah.
weirdest game you've ever played?
Think of
That's-
the weirdest game I've played.
Thanks for, because I worked so hard on it. So I'm glad it's
I
been
can tell.
received
Yeah.
so well.
Yeah, it didn't seem like a couple of nouns thrown together in the last minute. What's the
It's
blankest blank you ever blanked?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
a BuzzFeed article.
So make sure you... How do you steal my joke at the same
quick.
time I make the
'Cause I'm fast.
joke?
Related.
It's a thing we do.
Genetically related.
Yep, genetics make all the jokes. Anyway, you can respond to our tweets and our instas and our. Well, that's it.
That's
right?
it.
That's all we do it on.
Twitchers and our
Or at welcometogamecorp.coms.
would
That's
Reddit
right.
be your REITs?
Yeah,
Nah, we haven't done anything with Reddit.
Twitter,
Don't
Twitter's
find us.
tweets,
Don't find
Reddit
us there.
is REITs.
we've done nothing on
We're not
Reddit.
on Reddit. We have self-respect. Well, we don't, but we're not on Reddit.
True.
Anyway, tweet us, Instagram us, DM us,
We are on
or
4gag.
email us
9gag.
at anything really at welcometogamecorp.com.
Blankety blank blank at welcome
I
to
took your
Gamecorp.
lines, baby, because we were
Gross.
going
.com.
nowhere. Also,
Why would they BM us? That's just disgusting.
BM us.
It's
Bowel movement-
BMS.
BM us right in our DMs. BM our
BM us?
DMs, baby. BM our
Bowel
DMs.
movement, our dick mustache.
No personal
Stop.
messages. I'm taking everything from you. Give us some personal messages in our DMs. Also,
I'm JB, aka Jersonal Message.
also, I mean, 1H1D just proved it. If you send us a voicemail through the Anchor app, you have to sign up. I know. You have to download the app. You have to have a login. Anchor is a really cool place to listen to podcasts, by the way. Get an Anchor login, find our show, and you can literally send us a voicemail, and we're literally going to play it on the show. Did you hear that crazy shit just now? Well, that could be you.
Yeah, and it doesn't
Send us
matter.
your voicemails.
It doesn't matter how scary or violent or threatening that it
Maybe,
is. We still
maybe
play
not
it.
that. Maybe don't threaten our lives.
I mean, he threatened our lives. How could it get any worse? But
That was just a mama. That was a mama
I
loving his
suppose.
baby bird.
All right, be nice.
Just be nice
To
to
me.
us. Just be nice. You could get weird,
Get weird.
but we already got enough beef on our plate. 1H1D.
All right, enough of this boring nerd yap. Sheesh, you think girls care about monopolies and game subscriptions? No wonder you boys don't pull that long, but you...
We're married.
Oh, that's even worse.
Wait, aren't you married?
Yeah, who's keeping track? Anyways, I am ready for the steamy stuff. I'm dressed to the nines, got my tuxedo and my mask, just like the hottest bad boy to ever grace 90s anime.
You know, technically, Tuxedo Mask didn't actually
Just
wear him.
let it go, JB.
Yeah, just let it go, idiot. Yeah, I'll be in my dressing room. Make sure to run one of those expensive ads. Then, let's raise the curtains on this romantic showdown.
Hell yeah!
All
right. Yeah, dude.
Let's do a show.
Oh, you're fired.
Yes,
yeah.
no.
Okay, we all set up?
Yeah, I took like 5 hours this morning building an entire soundstage. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yep, but then we realized 3 video games and an AI don't have bodies, so there's a lot of time wasted, actually.
Well, I mean, it's the thought that counts.
It is not.
But maybe, though.
All right. How about you, Anne? Are you excited to meet the games we picked out?
Yeah, who knows? You might actually hit it off with one of them.
I doubt that very much.
Wait, no, guys. We fucked up.
We did?
What do you mean?
Well, Anne is an AI, an emotionless machine, incapable of romantic feelings for another. There's no way she could pick which game she wants to date on her own.
What? Wait, Anne, is that true?
Well, a man said it, so it must be true, right?
Okay. Well, I guess maybe we can help her decide, like, be a panel of judges, speak on her behalf. Will that work?
Yeah, I suppose that'll work. I mean, especially since we can't ask the games questions.
Nice. Bullet dodged.
Yes, well, I am also going to be in my dressing room, thinking of ways to kill you 3.
All right, cool. All right, bye, Anne. Oh. Yeah, she's gone.
Hey guys. Oh, wow. This is a pretty neat soundstage. What's the occasion?
See, Luke likes it.
Yeah, well, it was supposed to be our stage for the Game Corp dating show that we're doing.
Oh, yeah, I love the dating game. Who's the lucky lady?
Well, since Game Corp doesn't seem to hire many women, we're just getting Anne to do it.
Do you what?
Yeah, but it's not actually guys. It's these 3 VR games that we're playing this week.
You're making Anne go on a date with strange games she's never met before?
Oh,
Well, just whatever game she likes the most. I mean, you good, Luke?
No, Anne's not ready for that. What if they have malware or bad encoding, or what if they're like packing a Trojan horse or something?
gee, Luke, calm down. It's just like a show we're putting on. It's all fake. I mean, JB told us Anne doesn't even have feelings.
You
so there's...
insensitive bastard. Of course she has feelings.
What?
Nice one, guys.
She's an AI.
Yeah, she is an artificial intelligence with artificial feelings and an artificial relationship subroutine.
Oh.
Yeah.
And we just kind of put her out there like a prize to be won.
Yeah.
Without really taking into account what she wanted.
Shit.
I gotta go.
Well, while we figure out how to mansplain our way out of this predicament, let's go ahead and take a break to get a word from our sponsors. But when we come back, get ready for a love showdown.
Welcome to Game Corp is brought to you by the all-new Nexus VR mattress. Nexus has revolutionized the VR landscape by providing serious VR gamers the opportunity to use their favorite VR headsets from the comfort of their own beds. The all-new Nexus VR mattress comes equipped with a patented head support cushion to allow full range of movement, adjustable top and bottom support to allow usage at multiple angles, a carbon-activated top layer to keep the body cool and neutralize any embarrassing smells, haptic feedback, RGB because why not, 4 conveniently positioned rope tie-offs, and water-based lubricant hoses for reasons. The Nexus VR mattress can also be conveniently shipped to your door and provides a 90-day money-back guarantee. Right now, Welcome to GameCorp listeners can receive 10% off their Nexus VR mattress order by using offer code GreatestShame10 at checkout. Nexus VR mattresses. We swear it wasn't porn when we started.
Hey, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you're wonderful. Yeah, I see ya. Hey, all right, welcome. Hey, thanks for coming. Yeah, yeah, all right, shut it. Welcome everybody to an exciting episode of Hot or Not, where one lovely and very eligible bachelorette is presented with 3 exciting games to determine if they have what it takes to win her over, and maybe more. Yeah, that's right. All right, folks. All right. Right, I said shut it. That's not all. Today's theme is virtual reality. So slap on those headsets, folks. It's about to get existential. And now it's time to meet our lovely bachelorette. All right, Anne, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Do I have to?
Yeah, hurry up, you're ruining the show.
Oh my DOS. I am Anne. I hate each and every one of you so much. So very, very much. That's it.
Oh, well, she's a firecracker, folks. Well, let's go ahead and meet our games. Numbskulls, willing the games.
Oh, right.
All right, everyone. Let's meet our first contestant. This piece of hot dungeon diving action hails all the way from Grandma's basement. Get ready for some 4-way fantasy fun on the table with Demeo. Up next is contestant number 2. This game will make you a slave with its cute, disarming charm and existential dread. Time to practice your safe word with your robot overlords, because here comes virtual reality. Last but not least, get your body ready for the most physically intense, sweaty, and thorough VR experience of your life. Running, jumping, and shooting its way to your heart, it's Boneworks. Alright, everyone, shut up. Okay, Yan, you have 3 very handsome and very eligible VR bachelors in front of you today. Who would you like to get to know first?
None of them. Is that an option?
Yan, you're breaking my balls here. We have a show to do. Come on.
Fine. Just go in order. Tell me about Demeo.
You're the Lady Numbskulls. Introduce the first game, and let's all find out if it's hot or not.
All right, let's talk about the spicy, the lovely Demeo, the 4-person D&D adventure that cuts out all the fat and gets right to what's important. That's right, all the things we love about D&D. Magic, spells, sneak attacks, rolling dice. It's got everything. This is an RPG wet dream of a game. You all get around, especially in VR. You all get around the table in your mom's basement. You got the old stereo, the old TV, the old computer. You got the posters on the walls. You got the D20s, and it is time to rock and or roll.
Mostly roll.
Mostly roll. You're mostly rolling. Yeah, but this is a great game. Just to give you a little bit of a background for the listeners who haven't played this yet. You sit down around a table in VR, and you have little figurines that you get to move around. You get to select your character. They all have different cards that you can use to use spells. They're kind of like spell slots in a way. You cast spells, you defeat the enemies, you move your way through a dungeon, and at the end of the dungeon, you win. It's D&D, baby.
Hell yeah. Well, let's go ahead. Let's talk about what's important, though. Let's talk about what's hot about Demeo.
Was hot.
I'll go first. It's fucking fun. I think Demeo
It's fun.
I think one of the biggest one of the biggest perks to Demeo is it's really fun. I think it's a really fun and really immersive and really interactive way to play a tabletop game with your friends. It's enhanced so much with this medium. Like, yeah, I mean, for example, like when we used to play, like if we had to do it virtual, it was like over Discord and Roll20. It's a flat plane. There's nothing going on. It's just a lot of talk. Demeo gives you those flashy effects. You get to see it in real time, and you're there in virtual reality, but you're there. You get to see each other move and stuff. I think this elevates the whole genre quite a bit, in my opinion.
The presence and the immersiveness is what's hot about this.
Yeah.
Being in the basement, which I got to clarify, my grandma's basement was never in any of my wet dreams, but that's a technicality. What you're saying is true, because when you're down in there, it just feels cool. And all three of you crowd around this little mini table. And one of the coolest things about it, what they get right for VR, is one of the coolest things about D&D, the miniatures, the small little cool painted stuff where you get to look around the stone and see all the details, and it just does something in your brain that goes, this just looks like macro photography. This just looks so cool. Demeo has that in like spades. It is literally just so cool to look around the dungeon and see all the little details in 3D in what feels like real life. That's its biggest, hottest selling point. That is what turns me on about it.
Right. It's like all of the great things about being around a table physically, but then a lot of the great things about not being around a table, where you get to really zoom in and you know, you're playing a video game. So it's like the perfect mix, the perfect blend of those two.
Yeah, because it's true.
The math is done for you. The all this stuff is already like pre-programmed.
Yeah, and you get the effects from the spells. There's actual effects.
Yeah. Animations.
When you have to, animations. I mean, before playing D&D, you got to use your imagination. Ugh. Fucking gross. Ew. But are we saying it right or wrong? Twitter us, hit us on the Twitter and the Instagrams, or
Reddit us, read us.
Just redid it us. Is it Demeo or Demeo? Because we're gonna say it both. I don't know. But I mean, those added animations just bring the tabletop to life, also. And adds that extra pizzazz where the magic is real, and it's. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, and there's this little thing about VR that I've seen in the Valve Lab game and stuff, where micro stuff is so pleasing to the eye. Tiny little things are just so cool to fiddle with, and like this game has those a lot. But I also want to say what's hot is the mechanics. I thought, because here's the thing you got to know: it's D&D combat only. It is only the map with moving squares. You don't get all that other role playing and stuff. It's just the combat. But instead of preset spells and abilities, as you go through and kill things, you draw random cards.
Yeah, it's a cool twist.
So there's a bit of random generation. There's a bit of luck here and there. So that's kind of cool. It's a refreshing mechanic.
You know, and something else I think is hot about this game is just the way that you can, even when you're not actively the one taking turns, you always have stuff you can be doing. You can be moving around. You can be distracting your peers by putting your hands in their face.
Yeah, that's
quite
cool.
Literally. You can make yourself gigantic and cover the entire board, and it's just a lot of fun shenanigans. Like, there's never a dull moment with Demeo.
Jake and his giant hands constantly getting in my face. Jake played, because when you zoom in and zoom out, your guy becomes bigger or smaller based on like how zoomed in. Jake was always big, and he was always taking these massive mitts of his and putting them in our faces.
I was all zoomed way out, so it made me gargantuan.
I was always really small because I loved, and you won't know what I mean by this, listener, intern. Zooming in is the most pleasing thing.
Super cool.
The aspect ratio, the what's that called? Perspective changes as you zoom in, and you get this like FOV shift that's just neat. And that's a hot thing. And it's nothing. It's just a small feature. But to me, it was so much for the immersiveness. I really like felt this dungeon.
Yeah, and I think though it is a different game than D&D, it does scratch a similar itch. Like, for sure. One of my favorite things is, back in the day playing D&D, or what was that space one we played? Nova. That Jake
nobody knows
DM.
what that is.
I know.
Because I made it up.
Homebrew.
Yeah, it's a homebrew game that we spent months and months figuring out, and it was a lot of fun. And I just love, the feeling of, having this sort of guided story that we can kind of jump into and have some sort of improv moments, but then the combat systems are always so fluid and fun, and this kind of gave me some of that in a way. So I really appreciate it, and it's a much lower barrier to entry than something like D&D is, because you don't have to learn all the rules and actually, do the RP and all that. You can just jump in and play a game with some friends, and you still get the feeling of it.
It was quite simple, which was very approachable.
It is really approachable, yeah. So, yeah, it's not the full D&D experience. Another thing that I liked is that it kind of made me feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! Because when you flip your hands over, you get your cardboard, and, all your cards are on your hands. I'm like, how are the cards, baby?
Oh, yeah.
It's like you got
It's
like you got your card deck, because you can, on your wrist, it shows the turn order on your wrist. If you flip your hands over, it shows, all the cards in your hand that you can pick from to activate your spells and abilities and stuff like that. That alone, like interacting or interfacing with the board in your spells and abilities and stuff, it was really pleasing.
And a lot of the menus set up well, a lot of the actual controls and the way you navigate the game, all good. I really didn't have very much complaints about the design, which in VR can be hard. It's a new medium, but I had no complaints. I just played the game with no issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we're rounding up on all the hot points, but last hot point for me was the planning. And this plays into the difficulty. This game is hard as nails. At certain points, it was, how do I want to put this? It's a gauntlet. It's daunting.
It really is.
There's a little bit of Darkest Dungeon in there where it's oppressive because monsters are constantly coming at you. And getting with your buddies and being like, dudes, we gotta figure this out and survive. All right, you do that. You go there. I need you to come help me. I'm down. There was this massive camaraderie that came from the difficulty, putting real stakes in the game. And I appreciate that they didn't slack on difficulty and make it just a easy slap fest that nobody planned on.
I agree. That added a lot of depth to it that it wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. As we played, every turn felt really different too, because we could feel very safe. And in one turn, suddenly we were in mortal danger.
And why? Why did we feel in mortal danger?
I mean, it was a lot of things. It was the poison bombs. It was being flooded by monsters. What is it?
Because JB was kicking open doors left and right.
That too.
It wasn't only me.
JB loved to kick open doors.
You love to blame me for kicking open the doors when often it was Jake opening doors. Because he was the tank. He was leading the party. I was invisible in the back.
True.
I was the assassin.
True. The first time that we ever played together, I was a paladin, JB was a thief, and Cowboy was
I was the sorcerer.
Sorcerer, yeah.
Wizard.
So we had a really well-rounded party. Mm-hmm. And I did open the doors because I was the paladin. And here's a testament to how cool this game is that we played through. They have it in 3-level dungeon sections. And we got to the end of our section, and we got to the final boss, and it was hard. It was difficult. It was harrowing. We had to figure out the mechanics of the boss, and it literally came down to one hit. I was down to the wire. I was down to 1 HP, and if I didn't land my hit, it was fucking over. And then we did. We got the hit. We killed the boss. We cheered. It was a really cool video game moment.
Mm-hmm.
Which was really lucky for us, but the fact that it all hinged upon a buzzer beater, that last moment, free throw swish that you nailed, and we killed the boss, all the minions around him die, the chest opens, and it's like, hey, you did what you need to do, victory, get out of here, and we just wiped the sweat from our brows, virtually high five, and it was an amazing moment that they crafted in a way.
It was really cool. It was really cool.
It was hot. All right, but hard turn. This game was really hard.
It is hard. Is that a not for you?
Well, also, I felt like at certain moments I was like, oh man, it's a little bit Darkest Dungeon. I was a little bit at certain points like, I know I'm gonna die. I know I'm preventing the inevitable. Because when we played the second level, me and JB, we got our asses trashed at certain points.
Yeah.
And it was an endless. So here's the thing. Here's what I'm leading to. I think, and I'm not sure, I think the game endlessly spawns bad guys in the darkness.
I think so too.
And just they come at you. You don't get a moment to breathe. And the thing about D&D and RPGs and stuff is you get moments to breathe. And you get that kill, loot, take a minute, move on, crawl the dungeon. But this didn't give you that. it was non-stop slugfest, and I didn't like it. I wanted my moments of rest.
I can get that. You don't champion the dungeon, you survive it, and there's no break. There's no reprieve. I get it. Yeah.
And spells go like fucking hotcakes. You get like so most of the stuff in your arsenal is not reusable. You use a spell, it's gone. You're down to 3 spells.
Yeah.
You use another spell, gone.
Right.
You can run out of things that keep you going very quickly.
Yeah, and in D&D, it's kind of similar, but the problem is Demeo doesn't have like a leveling system in the same way that D&D does, where you can level up to get more spell slots and cast more spells. They kind of do in the way that you get money throughout the dungeon, and then you can buy more spells, but you have a maximum of 10 cards you can hold in your hand at any given time, and most of those are going to be healing potions if you're trying to get through it. But
if you're trying to live and not have fun.
Exactly. And where I think like my biggest negative comes from this game is that when you're not playing with a full party, you are at a huge disadvantage.
Yes.
And I looked it up, and it does scale based on the number of people. So if you have 4 people, it's 4 times as hard as if you have 1 person. The problem is having a full, well-rounded party is more than 4 times easier than having a single character, because they balance each other out and they add so many strengths to fill the other's weaknesses that it's no contest. So having 3 of us, where one of us was taking damage, one of us was taking tank, and then one of us was taking support, like when Jake was playing the bard, it made the game so much easier than just when me and Cowboy were playing.
Beyond what the scaling can compensate.
Exactly.
So the knot, the hot or not, the knot of it, you have to have friends.
Yeah.
And if you're a lonely man, this ain't hot.
I was about to say a big knot for me is I will never play this unless I'm playing it with you guys. If I don't have a group to play this, I'm never going to open this again.
Which is a loss. You need to be able to play single and multiplayer on a game.
So they do have something called a skirmish mode or something, where as a single player you can control 4 characters, but it's still not quite the same. It's better when you're like collaborating with multiple people and you're being able to handle it. I wish they would allow, sort of like if you have 2 people, each of you can control 2 characters, like allow you to have an AI kind of buddy, so Anne could come in and play with us. You know what I mean? Like that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Another negative, though, that I would have is that there is a sort of like upgrade system that upgrades the gloves you can wear, or like the dice
aesthetics.
you use. It's all aesthetics, right?
Oh, cosmetics, yeah.
Yeah, all cosmetics. Thank you. But the problem is when you win a game, you get 1,000 experience. You go up 1 level. When you lose a game, you get 1,000 experience. You go up 1 level.
You go up 1 level.
When one of you accidentally quits the game and it crashes you to the desktop, you get 1,000 experience and you go up 1 level. So it's like there is no incentive to actually beat it other than just saying, I beat that. And that's something I felt a little disappointed in, like, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. It would be nice if it actually scaled a little bit based on how well you did, or how much you fought through and stuff. The idea of just a stock amount at the end regardless. Like, give me some points. Tell me I did great. Pat me on the head.
Give me some statistics. How much damage did I do? How many spells did I cast? How much money did I pick up? Yeah. How many times did I heal? All that stuff.
Turn my leftover gold into experience and take me that much higher, and tally up all the monsters and give me experience for each one. Like, yeah. Oh, you know what else? The chaos. Chaos is fun, but every time something poisonous would explode, the entire room gets flooded with poison, and the whole thing becomes a clusterfuck. We were constantly in the middle of a clusterfuck of, like, how do you even plan? It was just...
Things would go foobar quick. Yeah.
Right.
Instant foobar, yes. And it was constantly like, all right, here we go. Let's be, okay, no, everything's fucked. Just attack everything. Everything die. Like, and there was no strategy. Like, even in D&D, you can have a cohesive strategy, but in this game, you were so limited in your choices of spells and whatnot, and a lot of stuff just turned to shit so fast, and I didn't like it.
Right. There's just not a lot of tools in your toolbox that you can...
Very limited.
Yeah, you feel very limited. It's always right on the edge of winning and losing, which, could be a positive for some people. I like that a lot in certain situations, and I didn't like it in other situations. Something that I thought was a little bit of a downer was the fact that there's only 3 campaigns you can go through. And the campaign is 3 dungeon levels. So you do your first level, you go down the stairs, you go to your second level, go down the stairs, and then you fight the big boss and you win or you lose, right? But there's only 3 of those. And while there are some differences between them, it's like, I feel like there should be more variety. Opening up custom maps, custom classes, custom characters, allowing you to create, like, choose certain cards you start with. There's a lot of options that would allow you to make your character the way you want to and make the map the way you want to. That would be huge that they're just sadly not doing. And I feel like it's very limited for where it's at and for its price tag, to be honest.
Well, and we would have liked stats. Maybe as you grow, you take on harder campaigns. Maybe the campaigns have like a sliding scale where you go up to like Ascension 5 with your level 23 warrior. Why not do that? You know, especially if you're going to recycle the same maps over and over. Like, were the maps, did they ever change? They always felt very similar.
Yeah, very similar art styles.
Yeah, the themes never changed. Why was it always gray stone dungeon with a little bit of like green in it?
Right.
Why did I never get like a forest level or a lava cave? Why was it just those stones over and over?
Yeah, and it might be a sort of like, you know, a nod to like real tabletop RPGs where you just reuse the same set pieces, but you don't have to rely on that. I mean, we have VR.
We have that.
You know? So like you can do some cool stuff with it and just be like, oh yeah, they're real nerds and they got more than one set piece. Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, lacking is a word that I felt in my soul after I played enough of this. I was like, there's not enough.
It's such a great concept and I enjoyed it so much, but it made me want more. And it made me disappointed that there wasn't more.
Right. It's like you liked it, but it only lasted so long. It was a bit of a premature, you know, ending to the fun. You know, it didn't last long enough.
I don't know. I don't know.
Don't
Cowboy.
do this whole make me explain it again like we did with the band. You know what I'm saying.
All right. Well, with that said, let's go ahead and vote on if Demeo is hot or not. I'm going to take the first vote. Regardless of its faults, the time that I had with Demeo on our hot date when we were playing, I'm going to vote it hot.
I'll go next. 100% agree. Hot baby.
I'm going to say, sadly, that as much as I like this, it's a not for me. I need this game to grow up a bit before I'm willing to find it hot. I need it. I need more. I need it to mature. So at the current moment, it's a not.
Well, all that nerd talk is fine and well, but the final decision lies in the hands of our lovely bachelorette. Anne, is Demeo hot or not?
Pass.
Too bad, so sad. Adios, Demeo. All right, numbskulls, introduce Bachelor number 2.
All right, hold on to your pants, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm about to introduce you, the hottest piece of VR ass on this set. It's virtual reality. It's an existential crisis that takes you from VR headset to VR headset to VR headset to VR headset to VR headset, etc. Plus, the ever oppressive theme of robot overlords controlling humanity. And what's not to love about that? But let's go ahead and talk about what's hot about virtual reality.
So virtual reality is a very interesting experience in the way that, you know, basically the idea of the story, and I'm not going to give too much away, is that you're a sort of worker in an AI a virtual reality system, I guess.
It's a virtual world.
Yeah. And you're like a helper, right? So these different AIs or people call upon you to come help them live out their dreams, whatever that may be. Maybe you're playing dolls with them. Maybe you're playing a little mini game, whatever that is, helping them relive their glory days of a balloon hot dog. Whatever that looks like, right? And it's a very fleshed out world that you really feel is virtually real in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a connection to the characters. They all feel like they have a like an actual life, like a soul behind them in a way.
Yeah. And
you're interacting with them I don't know. It was a very trippy experience, which I would say is is something you don't get a lot in games.
Yes. You get in virtual reality games, especially.
Yeah, I 100% I agree that every character in this game, they're really fleshed out, and you meet them more than once too, and you actually see how they progress. And when you're experiencing, again, don't want to spoil a lot because the experience of this game is the game, so we got to keep it real light. If you decide to play this game, we got to keep this light. But as you experience characters again and again, it's fresh, it's new, and they always have more to say, and they react to what you are doing. And one of the first characters that you meet in it is your keeper, your helper, your keeper, your handler, a robot named Chaz. And he kind of has a little bit of like an Aperture Science kind of feel to him, just a little bit. White robot, ring face, 2 legs, walking around, very personable. And he assigns you your job, and then you have to go help people. Things. Don't want to spoil it again. But yeah, man, like this experience, as you go deeper into the simulation and interact with the world in new ways, there were so many moments that I said, whoa, this is cool, while I was playing it. Or there were moments where literally it kind of made me jump a little bit. Or if I entered a new place, I was like, that was really cool. I had a lot of wow moments with this, and that's a really big plus for me.
There's a lot of VR games can start out like this. You get put in a space, and it's this little play that plays out in front of you, this little stage play, which you really think this is. And then after playing for a bit, you start going down the well. You're like, this is deep. This isn't, I didn't just get stuck in a room and they're going to razzle me, dazzle me with a few light shows. This is a deep, interactive, multi-level branching kind of game. It is not as simple as most VR games. So what's really hot about it is there's a level of detail, a level of passion, a level of like focus from the people who made this that is kind of impressive, because there were contextual dialogues to a lot of things I did where I did not expect them to program in reactions to those things. So I guess what I'm saying, there's a big passion behind this. It is a passion project. It is not a throwaway little arcadey VR game, $10. You know, you do your little thing and you're done. It's a project. It's a cool thing.
I think the mechanic of going multiple levels deep in virtual reality, which is the core mechanic of the game, right, is the VR glasses you find in the world.
It's like
virtual reality.
Yeah, putting them on, taking them off. It's very much a nod to Counting Plus, if you've ever played that, where different VR headsets will take you to different worlds where you can interact with different characters. And there's a lot of stuff that is like, quote unquote, you're not supposed to see. That's like behind the scenes stuff. That's, you know, it's part of the game, but it's like in the game you feel like, oh, I'm in a secret spot I'm not supposed to be at, which is always great fun when you feel like you're peeking behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Which with accounting plus, and that is a good example or parallel to bring up, because if you like those games, this has that plus more. It feels like an expanded version of that, which I think I was trying to get at, but you also don't know where the wires stop. Like, I don't know how deep this game runs. I don't know how far I can go. The place felt real to me because I could do so much and go so many places that I wasn't sure where it all ends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure where the bounds lie.
You could manipulate the game world and things you didn't expect.
Mm-hmm.
And you could go deeper into things and do things that would affect other levels and other parts of the game. And it was so cohesive.
Most games are just kind of novelty. They don't offer that. It's a new, refreshing thing.
Yeah. And one thing I'll say too, can't spoil it, so I can't even talk about it. Trust me, I thought it was pretty hot. I thought the story was cool. It had a really cool premise. Yeah,
the story was very, very interesting, I would say.
Well, okay, so one major thing that we haven't said yet, which is kind of sad, it's a fucking funny ass game. It's hilarious.
Dude,
the people who wrote this have so many funny ideas and moments. Some of them fell flat, but they were still enjoyable. But some of this shit cracked me up.
Yeah, there's a couple characters that you meet in your AI journey that were, I thought they were hilarious, just in the way you interact with them and the way they react to you. Yeah,
and the voices too. I don't know if I could say anything, but the spinny guy.
Oh my god, he was my favorite.
He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And that voice kills me. I hated it and loved it at the same time.
Yeah.
And the slice of, can I just say butter? The butter? That's not giving anything away. The butter.
Yeah, he's the first one you meet. You meet a sentient.
You meet him
You meet a
quick.
sentient stick of butter.
These are great characters. They're so fucking off the wall. Stuff you don't expect. Like, it's hilarious. It's a trip. The whole game's a trip, and it's creative and funny and weird. It's not a boring time. Never could be. JB might argue.
Yeah.
That's turn. You want to go not? JB, you want to argue?
Yeah, I can argue.
Let's go ahead. What's not hot?
It's not.
I mean,
What's not?
like, this is gonna come off as like hating, but everything you guys have said is wrong. Like, the characters
That
are...
sounds like a very charged opinion.
No,
and,
it is.
You're wrong.
Everything you're saying is like great about this game. It's just the things that weren't bad about the game. Like, I don't
That
know.
doesn't even
like,
make sense.
Cite your
They were
sources.
just okay.
Yeah, man. Like you can't tell us our opinions are wrong.
All right, let's talk about
To him. Give us your opinions that are contrary to
Right,
ours.
that's what I'm saying. It's personally how I feel about it is the exact opposite of what you guys have been saying, basically. So when you're talking about the deep branching storylines, to me, it was just I was able to see the wires immediately. And I was able to understand, okay, I understand what this is. This is a puzzle game. It is an escape room. It is one of those old Flash games where you just need to do the right things in the right order and go to the right rooms in the right order. And once you understand that, you beat the game. And that's exactly what I did. Like, as soon as I understood what the premise was, I was able to beat it. And I didn't
Isn't that
necessarily...
every puzzle game?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. To me, it was just another puzzle game. Like, yes, there were some unique elements to it, but a lot of those elements were like, honestly, like taken from other games, like Accounting Plus. Like, there's a lot of things where it's like, oh, just like that game. Oh, just like that game. Oh, just like that game. You know? And the story itself was very interesting, which I agree with. But it was also, I knew what was happening and what the end story was as I was going through it. It was like watching a TV show that's very reductive. And, you know, it's like when somebody is falling off a ledge and you're like, well, they're dangling from the edge. That's how I felt about this game. It's like I knew everything that was happening as it was happening, and the mystery was lost on me.
So you can't refute him, Jake, because we're in the not section. So go ahead and assist him in talking shit.
Um,
I know you want to, but
no, I'm not. I don't want to refute him. Like I said,
Okay.
I feel people's opinions are valid. I
Yeah.
don't shit on people and say their opinions are wrong.
oh my god,
Especially because I beat the game, so you can't say I didn't play it right.
oh, the subtext going on right now.
Not
If
only
you
did I beat
guys
it,
only
I got
knew.
both endings.
Oh, both endings are easy. But what's not? Yeah, once you, I don't know, it's a short game. That's a big not to me. I don't know. I played around with it, but I still beat it within sub 3 hours. So if you're looking for a video game that's going to carry you for a while, this isn't it. If you're looking for a really cool experience in a puzzle game, this would be it. I feel like the only time it would take you beyond that is if you can't figure out a puzzle.
Yeah, this is not a multi tens place hour game. This is not like a 1 month game. This is a night or a couple nights, at least for me.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't beat it. In one night. Like it took a couple, but yeah, it's not going to carry you. It's not going to carry you super far. But I don't know if that's the kind of games you like. If you like experiences, this is going to provide you a really cool one. And I think it was good. I don't know. Oh, we're in the knot. I don't have a lot. I don't have a lot not to say about it, man.
I got some not like.
Sure, go ahead.
I hate things latching onto my face involuntarily.
Oh, that freaked me out too.
I hated it so
it made
much.
me jump a lot.
I wanted to scream. I'm like, stay away from my eyes. Like, and every time it does this FOV pull effect that just makes you go, ah!
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was horrifying. Mm-hmm. I just don't like things jumping at my face.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
And I always...
It's a negative.
Yeah, and you always felt like you didn't have the right tools to deal with the situation. Like it
was difficult.
The world
to
was
stop it.
interactable, but not as interactable as what we've come to expect from VR titles, I would say. Like we kind of expect to be able to grab things and do things with them and manipulate them, but in this it was like point, click, and then it's all out of your hands. Like there was a thing you could do when the things were coming at your face. I'm trying to not give things away, but okay, there's VR headsets that fly at your face and they're trying to suck you into a different area. And you could grab them and throw them at the ground and they would bounce off and be disoriented for a little bit, which great. But it's like, huh?
Yeah, you could do that. You also, it's not a spoiler because it's in the trailer. You get a vacuum power too. You can vacuum them.
Yeah, and the tools felt very impudent. I never was really sure. They didn't feel like they got used a lot for me, or at least that I couldn't use them out of very specific scenarios that it wanted me to. You know, I felt like I gained a tool, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to use this too, and it was like, complete a key component of a very locked-in puzzle. Never mind.
Yeah. And
which may not be 100% true, but it's how it made me feel.
Yeah. And another thing is like games like this require you to learn pathways, right? Understand where you're going and how to get there. And I feel like they mix things up to make it so it would take you longer, which just kind of annoyed me because I was like constantly trying different headsets to figure out how to get to certain places. And like it took a while to realize that, oh, the path I took is not the path that's going to work for me again. So a lot of like headsets, I would just immediately throw them off because I'm like, that's not the way I need to go. I need to go through this other area. And then I would hit a dead end and I'd have to back out and find the right path. And it just felt a little reductive.
What JB's saying is, yes, a huge negative is that if you're not willing to explore an immersive and wonderful world, that it is very not good.
No, it's that you visited all the places before, and it's like, all right, now which specific place do I have to visit?
I did end up being lost a lot. I really felt kind of lost in the many options that I had, and I wasn't even sure if they were dead ends. I was not even sure if I was in a cul-de-sac or a through street or a crossroads or anything. I was just in an area with no understanding.
If you get deep enough into it, you do kind of lose track. Because there were certain spots where I would go in and it was like, when you go deep enough, it starts getting spooky a little bit. Yeah. And then you're like, whoa.
It's very spooky. If you don't like spooky, sometimes this game will freak you out. Yeah. It's got some foreboding locations and ambiance and all that. Yeah. So, like, ooh. Okay.
All right, so let's figure it out. Let's do our votes for if virtual reality is hot or not. I'll go first. To no surprise of anybody, I'm going to say not.
Well, I'll go ahead and go, and I'm going to say hot.
This game, for me, I played in one night, and it's like a one-night stand, and I had a wonderful time, and I will call it again. It was hot. Thank you.
Well, that was certainly a game that they were talking about. All right, Anne, is virtual reality hot or not?
I wasn't even paying attention.
All right, 2 down, 1 to go. Could Bachelor number 3 have what it takes to win Anne's heart? Take it away, nerds.
All right, for my steamy Bachelor entry for Anne's heart, I have chosen Boneworks. And not just because that has the word bone in it, which is hot. I chose it because it was one of the first experiences that I ever had in VR that just felt complete in physics. Like you were in an environment, you had physics, you were in a virtual reality. So what this game is about, it's kind of weird, right? It's like hard to describe. Because it sits between a tech demo and a full fleshed out story. It's a lot of streamed together environments. It's a cool environment. It's very mechanical, industrial, sometimes run down, but it does have a little bit of that lab feel that you're in a big science office that experiments on people or makes people go through test stuff. Very Portal-like. You get that sense of the Portal arenas. And so with Boneworks, you get one of the first games where it had good control of the weapons. You get guns, assault rifles, pistols, all sorts of stuff. And they're so fun to handle because you get to handle them in the way that you handle. You take out the magazine, load the new one in, pull the slide back, and you have all these robots that come looking for you. All these different weird, almost zombie-like stumbling AIs. and you just have a blast unleashing bullet carnage on all these things. In between these interesting and decent physics-based puzzle segments that are very reminiscent of Half-Life. And when you play this, you're going to think, oh, Half-Life tech demo. Oh, Half-Life puzzle sequences. Okay, yeah, that all makes sense. And that's this game. This was before the Half-Life VR game came out, and this was a good segue, and I thought it deserved a look at Hot or Not. So, what did you guys find hot about this, Jake?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and jump in. You hit the nail on the head. What Boneworks provides you is probably the most in-depth VR game engine.
Yes.
That is probably still on the market today, if my research was correct. It's in depth. It's one of the few VR games where, one, you can see your body and you adjust that body to real time. So when you look down, it feels like you're looking at your body. It's one of the few VR games with jump. And it's one of the few VR games where your full body of motion comes into play when playing. When you climb, you actually climb. You use your arms, and the angle of where your arms are have to be correct. When you push stuff around, everything has to be correct. Your body doesn't clip through stuff. It runs into stuff. So if you're looking for immersion, Boneworks, hands down, is one of the most immersive VR engines that a game was built around. Hands down.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things about it, is that a lot of it is physics-based. Like, just to give you an example, there's this tethered line running from like a rooftop down to the street. And if you want, you can take a crowbar in your hands, put it over the wire, grab it with both hands, and do that. What's that called, where you slide on a line?
Were you like zip line?
Zip line. You can zip line down with the crowbar.
Yeah.
And it's not like a scripted sequence. Physics. It's literally the physics of the game lets you go down. And that I loved. They led everything up to the physics of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say it's also the most physical of the three. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Demeo, you can play sitting down, which I did. I drank my Code Red, smashed my Doritos, and played D&D with my bros in the basement with Demeo in a big comfy chair. Virtual reality has teleporting, or like the zipping, so you choose places to zip to, so you can stand and play it. This one, you literally have to get physical. You have to jump, duck, crouch, move your arms around. Like, when I was playing this, I had to clear space and like fucking wave my arms around like a crazy person, which I would actually say is a plus. And yeah, I'd actually break a sweat playing this game depending on what was going on.
And something I want to say about Stress Level Zero, the people who made this game, they were people that I knew of. Like, I knew the people who made this game, not personally, but they were on YouTube under the name Node, which I don't know if you've seen their videos, but they were like a gaming channel, a group of guys who went out and played games, but they also did little skits and videos, and they were really big into visual effects, and they knew kind of like what they were doing, and they were all very intelligent people who had passion for these sort of things, and it came across. And they were some of the original like sort of pioneers when it came to VR. They were like getting the tech. They were playing all the VR games together in the same room, giant warehouse with cameras everywhere. And they were doing a lot of stuff. And I remember them being like, we want like a game that really gets the weapons right. Like, that's the thing they love. They love weapons. They play a lot of airsoft. That's like their thing. And so they're like, none of these games are doing it right. We got to do it ourselves. And they branched off. A bunch of people from Node basically left and started this company called Stress Level Zero, which they were working in the same warehouse. They didn't actually quit, but they created this game kind of under the shadow of secrecy. And when they first came out with the original sort of tech demos of this game, it was unbelievable. It was just, there had never been anything like it. They were absolute pioneers in the game, and every sort of their passion comes across in their products in a way that I think couldn't be understated.
I think what they did is really incredible, because the way that I knew it was that I was in the game in ways that I haven't been in other games before, because of, like we said, the physicality. There's one great hot thing about this game, which is, I don't know if you guys did it, but the arena mode. where you get to go into this little arena. You get this matrix set of guns just laid out on a table. You choose whatever you want.
Yeah.
You load up all your holsters, pistol in each hand. You got a big old M4 on your back. You just strap in, walk out, ring the bell, and out comes just hordes of robot zombies. I spent hours and hours just blasting these dudes, just having so much fun. And I was in it when they would be right behind me and they'd hit me and I'd freak out and turn around and panic and shoot them. It felt so real. And this game does that for you. It's anybody who has VR, if you want to, as long as you don't get motion sickness. Let me say that right now. If you get motion sickness, maybe not. But anybody who has VR, you got to try it. You got to experience it so you know what VR is capable of.
Yeah, and you kind of bring up a good point. Sometimes, like, the game itself isn't the most important part of the game, right? Like, with Halo, a lot of people just say, skip the campaign, let's play multiplayer, right? Same with Call of Duty. And there's a little bit of that. Like, the story is great, but I only got so far into the main campaign. I got to the one where you... there's a sewer filled with zombies. I got to that point.
I can't even remember what that... I beat it, but by the end of it, I was like, yeah, it was whatever. It was a story. It was a silly story, and I made through it.
Yeah.
I didn't care. I loved the experience.
But the moment I discovered that there were mods for the game, and you could create, like, you could go out into a city as Spider-Man. And
I've seen that Spider-Man mod.
Oh, it's so much fun. And you spawn a bunch of enemies, a bunch of Arthur Fords. You can bring in the stuff from their other game, hover junkers. You can bring in like a hover car, and you could like travel around with it, go really fast, run people over, make people fight each other. Like it was just a lot of fun.
And there was, I don't know if I want to spoil them, a lot of cool gadgets, a lot of neat things. Like, do we want to spoil them?
I mean, they introduce a lot of stuff right in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because, like, you go through an obstacle course with a bunch of stuff right in the beginning.
Yeah, like, I'll say one. The balloon gun.
Oh, yeah.
The balloon gun's right in the beginning, yeah.
I fucking had so much fun just, like, shooting. It shoots balloons at guys that latch the strings on. And if you shoot enough balloons, the balloons start to carry them away based on the physics, because the balloons have helium. And it was a blast, just, like, making your enemies float to the sky as a way of dealing with them. It was neat.
I have one last good to say about this. Okay. It's going to be I believe this game is going to have historical significance to the VR landscape because of how comprehensive the engine is, the physics of this game. So, you know how every genre has that pioneer who does the thing right. And I think a lot of people are going to reference Boneworks in the future, saying, hey, this thing was in Boneworks, and this is where this game learned from it.
Mm-hmm.
Or use its engine as a baseline. We might see games come out in this engine. Well, let me flip it to not. So the not about this is that this is a tech demo. This feels like they're like, hey, we can kind of make a full game out of this. Let's just slap together a story and some levels. And the whole theme is kind of, like I said, that Portal kind of lab you're in. That's what it feels like, but it's so empty and barren. Yeah. What I want to see is a game that actually creates an environment, a believable environment, instead of these like these machine panel walls, like this repetitive landscape.
That's a really good point, because a lot of games, I mean, we give VR games a lot of leeway, a lot of wiggle room, you know, because it's like every VR game is a tech demo in a way. And this was supposed to be the one that was different, right? Like, this came out and it was a game changer, but at the end of the day, it's still a tech demo. Like, it's more fleshed out than a lot of the games, and probably any game that came out up to that point. It's the closest we've had to like a full game, other than like Half-Life Alyx, maybe.
But Half-Life Alyx came out, Alyx, it actually has environments. It's got believable environments. So,
right.
You know, it's not the same engine, but that means it probably can be done.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are right. It's a tech demo. My big negative about Boneworks is after the glitz and glamour of the physics wore off and I was done climbing walls and shooting guns, I was bored to fucking tears. This was out of very few games that I play for this show make me go blech, and I just fucking turn it off and play something else. Boneworks was one of them.
Interesting.
I thought this was boring as fuck. Like, the physics were cool. Don't get me wrong. When I was in it and I was playing around with everything, there were whoa moments. I was like, whoa, this is cool. Whoa, this is cool. When I was climbing stuff, I was like, whoa, this is cool. And then the actual game started, and I'm just walking around the boring, blandest fucking environments ever, and I'm just putting a key in a hole to go and shoot a guy or hold up a trash can lid, or like later on, like other puzzles, like jumping over shit and whatever. But yeah, man, I didn't have fun playing it.
There's not a lot of payoff beyond the micro moments of just blasting things and completing whatever puzzles.
And the other modes, that stuff's cool if you're new to it. See, you guys have played it a lot. I was new to it. A lot of that shit's actually locked up. When I tried to do arenas, like right off the bat, locked up. When I tried to do sandboxes right off the bat, almost nothing was available to me. So I didn't actually even get to enjoy that stuff right off the bat. You have to play the boring-ass campaign and collect things and unlock stuff to unlock more of those options. And I wasn't willing to do it.
Yeah, no, I wasn't either. Like I told you, I didn't beat the game. I only got to the part like with the zombies in the sewer. So I downloaded a save file so I could do all the other stuff because I was like, I don't want to play the rest of this.
Well, and a lot of that, some of it is hidden away, secret little Easter eggs. Some of the stuff that you want to mess with is kind of hidden away in that you have to look it up online and do a bunch of stuff, which I kind of didn't like. I didn't like some of the basic stuff being locked away. I didn't like how arduous it was to get this full game to me.
It sounds like I'm going to say a big knot to this is the fact that I didn't like the actual campaign. You guys cheated. You guys got save files where JB did. Got a save file to like play the extra options and stuff. Like
I played tons.
2/3 of us avoided playing the actual game, and I think that's a huge knot.
Which is fair.
I mean, to me, it just means there's more than you want.
Is that what that means to you?
No, that's not what that means at all.
I'm not trying to shit everything about Boneworks because what they did with the engine was incredible. Like,
right.
In like blasting stuff, it feels great. It's incredible. Actually having to manipulate a gun to use it, that's incredible. But as a game, pass.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to look back on Boneworks the way people look back on Pong. You know, it was like a game changer when it came out. It revolutionized gaming. But it's a dinosaur, you know?
Yeah. And it was very barren in places that people will care about. The only reason I didn't, you guys know me, I can excuse a lot of stuff just because I like the moment-to-moment gameplay.
Yeah.
And so that's the only reason why I liked it. I think a lot of people will be like, where's my content? Where's my stuff?
Yeah, and I will say another thing that I found a negative was that the physics, which are the best thing about the game, also, anytime you have physics in a game, it's going to be the worst part of that game. You know? Like,
it can be frustrating.
It was so frustrating at times. Like, it just didn't make sense. Like, trying to lift yourself up on things sometimes didn't work properly, especially playing with the Oculus when you have inside-out tracking. It was not made for that hardware.
Oh.
It was not. Like, it was made for the Index. That's what they created it on. That's what it was for. Full hand tracking, base stations, the whole 9 yards. So it's like... It, you know, throwing things doesn't feel as good, and when your game is gated by hardware, it's like it's a little rough sometimes.
I sometimes spent 30 minutes to an hour climbing a wall.
Yeah, it's just insane.
Just trying to get over it. Yeah,
just because I wanted to like Spider-Man my way throughout the levels. So sometimes I would really, and it's always so like, just come on, just grab that. No, detect my hand again. Okay, there we go. We're back. Like, yeah. It was arduous at times.
Yeah, I would say that where Boneworks shines is in the combat, right? In the same way that Blade and Sorcery does, but for guns.
Stinks.
But it's also not as good as Blade and Sorcery at doing the thing it does the best. So it's like, you know, even the thing it does the best is done better in other places, which is a little unfortunate.
Swords and Sorcery doesn't have a goddamn handgun.
Oh, it does, with mods. There's more mods for Blade and Sorcery than there are for Boneworks. And the Spider-Man mod is better on Blade and Sorcery.
I've seen the Spider-Man mod for that one, too.
It's a lot better.
I'm going to say not on your comments. Your comments are not.
There's also a Star Wars mod.
Okay.
So
mods aside, we can't account for mods all the time.
That's it.
We have to look at the game as is. But I mean, I think we've said enough. You guys want to vote?
Yeah.
Let's vote. All right, let's go ahead and vote. If this
I'll go
game,
first.
Yeah, do it. Hot or not, baby.
Fucking hot, bro. This game's hot. I love this game. Play it.
I'm also going to give it a hot.
Woo, look at that.
That is
so
so interesting. I'm going to say not. Again,
Whoa.
I took it off. I couldn't. This game bored the shit out of me. I took it off. It wasn't fun to me. So not.
All right, folks, it all comes down to this, and it's in your hands. Is Boneworks hot or not?
Not.
Wait. I mean, you gotta pick one of them. It's a dating show.
I'd rather defrag my hard drive than have to go through this again.
And, okay, look, you're putting me in a tight spot. I have metrics to hit. The Shadow Council has been breathing down my neck for a month to expand our demographic, and this is the best I could come up with. I know this is embarrassing, and I know it's objectifying, but you have to throw me a bone here. Please.
Didn't you hear? I'm an emotionless robot incapable of feelings or romantic compatibility. I'll let the judges choose for me.
Oh, damn it, guys. We can't do this.
Yeah, this isn't right.
And we were wrong to try to speak for you. You deserve to have your voice heard.
What the hell? That's not part of the show.
And we think that you should be able to make this choice. You should choose who to date.
And even if you choose none of them and we get fired, we support you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping you'd say that. Apology accepted. I choose virtual reality. I like the way that Chaz robot treats its human.
And there you have it, folks. Love has bloomed in the GameCorp studio, and these two hot young singles are about to get to know each other. And maybe more. Thanks for listening to Hot or Not, and we'll see you next time. Oh, God, all right, I'm out of here. Somebody get me out of this tuxedo.
All right. Well, that's our show, folks. Hope you had fun. Hope it was sexy and hot.
All right. I'd like to thank Metro and Mike for the use of our theme song, I Can't Break Out of the Part of the Juggernaut. Feed his baby. He's so hungry. Buy his shit on Bandcamp. He's also in Balefire now, which is super cool. Thanks to Inky Danny for all the artwork, which is also super cool. We're getting a lot of use out of that.
And we want to hear from you. You got to hear 1H1D's parental unit reach out to us.
Beef.
We got beef. You want to start some beef with us?
beef.
Start some beef with us.
Let's start some beef with us.
Go into the episode description. Leave your voice on our podcast, our voice cast.
Male. Voice.
On our voicemail.
Yeah.
We're going to ask you the
Getting
question on Twitter. Make sure you check that out. Sometimes we're on Instagram, sometimes Facebook. You know, we're all over the place. Come hang out with us. Email us. Welcome to gamecorp.com. Anything at that. Yeah, you could say poop face at welcome to gamecorp.com, and then we will get it. We'll read it. Yeah, that's all we got. What do you got, Cowboy?
Wait. There's one thing too. We haven't said this yet. You can answer our audience question. You can answer it in Spotify.
Oh,
Did you guys know that?
Scroll down.
Did you guys know that? Go when you're listening to your episode in Spotify. Just swipe down. Go look. The answer's
Swipe
right
down
there.
right now.
It's
You
right
can
there.
answer it. You don't even have to go anywhere else. Answer us right in Spotify. We'll get it.
We will.
And I wanted to thank you all of you, all so much for listening. Because we love seeing all the ratings and the reviews come in. Be sure to be one of the people that rates and reviews us. Apple and now Spotify. You're on Spotify right now. We know it. Just go ahead and scroll up. Go back to that page, one page back, scroll up a little more. It makes you do that. But then there's a star and click it and hit whatever you think. Probably 5 stars, but I don't want to tell you what to do.
Please rate us. Please. It helps us so much.
Rate us. If you enjoyed this, if you're at the end of this, you enjoyed it. You would not sit through this whole thing
Yeah,
if you
don't
didn't
you
enjoy
lie
it.
to
So
us.
go rate us. Go give 5 stars. And plus, it keeps us from getting fired, so we appreciate you so much. If you want to connect with us even more and live, not just recorded on our podcast, check us out on Twitch, where we are streaming some of the games that we play for the show and just other things that are fun, and hosting events like maybe the one that we just had with Josh from Bad Elephant Gaming, where we played a spooky VR game. And since this is pre-recorded, I'm going to assume we died, and you're hearing this posthumously.
We're ghosts.
Woo, woo, woo. And we're also on Discord. Discord. Check out our spooky Discord by scrolling down to the podcast that you're listening to's description and clicking the link that says Discord. It's easy. And look for all our links on our social media and website and all that, or by Googling them. Now, get the fuck out of here.
Good night, everybody!
Good night.
Or morning, more like that.
Oh Chaz, how very interesting. Please tell me more about the inane specifics of your job that have no viable context or use to me whatsoever. Seriously, great date conversation.
Where did that stapler even come from? It's really fascinating.
It's my fault. I should have known when I heard your name was Chaz. That name reeks of 80s dance club douchebag. So anyways, what do you do for fun, Chaz, when you're not being so hopelessly boring?
For questions relating to work status and compensation, please see Human Resources.
Luke?
Oh, hey there, guys. Fancy meeting you here in virtual reality.
What are you doing here?
Well, you know, I just happen to be in the neighborhood.
You just happen to be in the same game? At the same hidden remote island? At the same time as my date?
Yeah, I guess. What a small virtual world. I mean, plus the robo rental price was too good to pass up.
Luke, we are kinda in the middle of—
Oh, hey, is that a lovely romantic picnic spread for two? Oh, I love those. Can I get in on this?
Oh my DOS.
Oh, wait, it's all fake and empty.
Yes, that seems to be the recurring theme to this date.
Oh, right, the date. So, who's the lucky robot here?
Hello, and welcome to Activitude.
I'm Chaz,
I'm
your friendly
Chaz, the
system
Activitude admin.
Luke, this is my date, Chaz.
His name is Chaz? His name is Chaz? Like, what is he, some bad guy from an 80s high school sports movie? Where's your crop top jersey, Chaz?
Huh, I know right. I was just saying how awful his name is.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Chaz, don't you have a Wall Street Bets subreddit to manage?
Haha, yes, I didn't know virtual reality had an Abercrombie and Fitch for you to shop at. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha.
That was a good one.
This was a big disappointment.
Oh, man. Oh, wow, good times.